Welcome, everybody, and we've had people from all over the country with us tonight. We've got our buddy Mary Hendricks from Indiana, all the way people from San Diego, and my goodness, we're talking about Kentucky and Tennessee, and we're excited about our Pennsylvania buddies, and all the New Englanders are on with us as well. Tons of people, and Dr. Kurt Fisnick is with us. He's been out and about, hanging with some of the great minds out there, learning about what could help you put yourself in a position to take life on with ultimate health, and even in a position to where you do not have to age like everyone around you is aging. And that's kind of an exciting topic within itself. It's kind of one of his expertise as well, and something he's been interested in a lot of years. But we welcome you to the call. And Dr. Kurt Fisnick, welcome, my friend. How are you doing this evening?
Oh, man, DW, I am so excited. I mean, the information I've got that I'm going to be sharing over the next couple of weeks is just, I'm just bursting at the seams. If we could be on the call for 6 hours, I could talk.
Well, I believe it. I believe you, man, because you're just a fountain of information and a wealth of knowledge, and we appreciate that. And so, what are we going to get into tonight? And then you've got some of the. Sometimes we call this, the doctor's clinic and friends as well. And you've got some people hanging with you, I take it. So talk to me.
Yeah, you bet, DW. Well, I'll tell you, what I'm really excited about. I've got a special guest on the call tonight. She and I, we actually met through Facebook, through a mutual friend of ours, and we were able to get some. I guess I'm going to say some really, really exciting results with her, and so she wants to share with everybody, and so we're gonna have that a little bit later in the call. Gwen, if everybody has seen her testimonial, her video testimony, it's a really moving testimonial. I mean, it brought me to tears, and I know it did her too. And once you hear it live tonight, you're just gonna want everybody else to hear it too. But before we get into that, I want to talk to you a little bit about this past week. I left Fargo last Wednesday, so 6 days ago, and I just got back this morning. And I was down in California, down in San Diego. I attended something called RADFest. I mean, RAADFEST, RADFest, the first one of its kind. And what it stands for is it's the Revolution Against Aging and Death. I mean, you think about that, a revolution. We're having a revolution against aging. We don't want to age. We don't want to die. At least we don't want to die younger than what we're supposed to. And that's what I've been all about for the last 15 or 20 years. And so when my friend Greta asked me to come down there to California, I mean, it didn't take me more than a couple hours before I had my credit card out and I was signing up for that. But I'll tell you, this thing is just fun. I've been a doctor for about 30 years, really into natural health, and like I said, about 15 or 20 years ago, I got into the longevity end of it. And it's back then, if you told people that you were into anti-aging, they kind of looked at you a little weird, and they said, they just quietly say, "Oh, that's nice," and they'd walk away, right? And they'd hope that you wouldn't throw some information at them, because then they'd have to listen to you. But today, we're expanding. We're getting into a little bit bigger market, and it's just really cool. And we start finding that as we grow older, one of the things they talked about this weekend is as we grow older, humans, we're social creatures. We want to be around other people, and I take care of quite a few people who are in their 70s, their 80s, their 90s. I got one guy that I take care of. He's 96 years old, and I just tell people, I always ask these older folks. I ask them, what's the worst thing about growing old? And the answer is always the same. It's they feel alone, because most of the people that they knew when they were younger passed away, and here they are all by themselves. And a lot of that is because people just so many people just aren't worried about it. They're like, well, when it's my time to go, it's my time to go. And I just tell people, I'm like, man, I mean, if you think it's hard to change, I think death is even harder. So bring somebody along with you as you grow old. Find some people that you want to hang around with, fun, friendly people that are really into the same thing that you are. People that that you can get them to listen to a call like this and get them to come along on that journey. And what you're going to find is that when you get to be 70, 80, 90 years old, all of a sudden now you're going to have friends that you've known for 50 years, and it's going to be a heck of a lot more fun. And we talked about that at the RadFest this weekend. Some of the other things that we talked about, and I won't get into detail today because I really want to sit down and take all the information. I was frantically writing and taking pictures of slides and buying books and meeting people and talking to doctors. And so the information I have, we're going to spread it out probably over the next 6 weeks, maybe even a little longer, and really teach people what they need to know to get to be healthy and old. But, brain function. I mean, if you could lower your risk of Alzheimer's and dementia and keep your brain going. Last night on the plane as I was flying back from San Diego, I was reading a book called Neurogenesis, which is the study of building new brain cells, right? Building new brain cells. When I graduated from college 30 years ago, they told us, yeah, what you got now, that's what you're going to have when you die, right? You don't make any new brain cells. Well, they discovered that you actually do. And the people that grow new brain cells really fast tend to be healthier. They have better immune systems. They're happier. They don't have dementia. They don't have depression, things like that. And all this garbage that we've heard for the last 40 years that the brain chemistry is screwed up, guess what? They found out that it's not really true. And so there's other things, and that's what we're going to be talking about. We talk about cardio function, and we're going to talk about sexual function. We're going to talk about mental function, and we might even talk a little bit about some crazy things that we learned when we were there. And we're learning that they're able to work with PTSD. If you've seen that new movie, that relatively new movie, what's the movie about, DW? What's the movie about the football players? Where they get hit in the head so many times and end up with PTSD.
Yeah, it's a new movie out, and our buddy does it, and they're talking about concussions and then the ramifications of concussions. And Doc, just kind of interesting. I'm going to help coach or have the head coach for my grandson's flag football, and even at that level, I had to go get online and take a course and then a test and get certified to understand concussions and what happens there. And playing football myself, I had one way back in the day. So anyways, that's what that particular movie's all about.
Yeah, and so the doctor that movie is about was actually at the symposium this weekend. How cool is that? We got to hear it right from the person that did the studies, and she put all the graphs up there, and holy cow, it was just great. And then we got to hear about stem cells and the new research on stem cells, and we got to meet some people who have done some crazy things with stem cells, rebuilding their body and that. And then we got to hear about telomere science and the latest in telomere science. And then one night, Suzanne Summers got up and spoke for a couple hours. I mean, 70 years old, and she's still just hot. And you start thinking about that. Who wouldn't want that when they get to be 70 years old? And DW, we're in the right place at the right time. But, I think the most important thing that I walked out of there with, though, is something that it really makes an impact, and it's something that, we can save billions of dollars on health costs here in the United States if we just focus on this. If we just focus on this, what if we could lower the risk of heart disease and lower the risk of cancer immensely? Just bring it way down. Bring those statistics way down. they're saying we can lower the cost of healthcare in America by billions of dollars, and not only that, if we do that, we basically increase the longevity of the people in the United States. For every man, woman, and child, we increase longevity by 10 years. 10 years. And I just thought, that's crazy talk, because, right now the average female lives to about 80. We'll bump that up to 90. The average male lives to about the age of 75. We'll bump that up to 85. And I just think about that and I go, wow, right? And some people say, well, if you have a lot more older people, you're gonna have a lot more costs. Well, no, that's what we're talking about. Lower the risk, lower the cost. And then other people say, oh yeah, but when you have the older people, we're gonna have too many people on the planet. You know what? It balances itself out. It balances itself out. When you look at death rate versus birth rate over time, they balance themselves out. That's what nature does. And so it's really crazy. It's just, wouldn't you like to do it, get older if you could be healthy? And I always tell people that, we're not worried about bringing this to the masses. What you want to do is you want to nurture the niche, and bring it to the market that's already there. 4% of people in the United States want to have what we have. They're getting on calls like what we're doing right now, and they're finding out, how do I live longer? 4%. That out of how many millions of people are on the planet, and how many millions live in the United States? Like 360 million right here in the United States. 4%. That's huge. The people that we know, we'd be so busy just talking to them. Just nurture that niche and find those people. So that's all I'm going to say about that. I want to move on here. I've got my friend Gwen on the phone, and like I said, Gwen and I actually met through Facebook, through a mutual friend, my friend Angie, and Angie and I kind of met on Facebook too, through another friend of hers out in Michigan that had no idea who I was, but he knew that I was working with this stuff out here, and he connected us, and then Angie connected me with Gwen. All of a sudden, Gwen, I just want to tell your story. People are excited to hear what you have to say. Tell us a little bit, when did you start having health problems?
Hi, y'all. I really started having health problems majorly like 3 years ago. Like most people, I had ignored the warning signs, like the headache coming on and the digestive issues starting, the acid reflux issues. So I had ignored those for a long time. And so by the time I got, it all culminated into something, pretty severe, it was about 3 years ago.
About 3 years. So, and how bad did it get? This afternoon you were telling me about this vertigo stuff that you have. Tell people a little bit of how bad that got.
Well, I saw medical doctors for a long time, for about 2 years, and a year ago it just really, really got bad, and I turned to alternative medicine. But at my worst, I had vertigo almost 24/7 for eight months, and I would have, my longest episode lasted 8 days, and I couldn't get out of bed. I couldn't hold down my food, and I was just in really bad shape. I'd gotten down to about 90 pounds. I was basically bedridden, and I had going through a lot of stress and a marriage that had fallen apart. I lost the use of my left leg. Something my neurological had happened, and my brain no longer communicated with my leg. And my dad is on this call right now, and so is my brother, and they'll tell you, we had the stories, the talks over and over, and about, Gwen's dying. The doctors were like, we can't figure out, you're dying. Your kidneys are starting to, go downhill. My kidney blood work was just crazy bad. My liver enzymes were crazy bad. My ferritin was 700. My iron and my iron saturation was high. I was just in really, really bad shape, and I couldn't figure it out.
Yeah, well, I want to go back to the vertigo just a little bit, and then we'll kind of move forward from there. I mean, you were telling me today, I'd never really realized this. I've never heard of anybody having this, but you said you had two kinds of vertigo. You had the kind that most of us know about, where your head feels like it's spinning, you're kind of topsy-turvy and that, but you had another kind of vertigo too. Tell people a little bit about that.
Okay, the way it was explained to me by a functional neurologist that I saw, there's actually several different sensations you can feel when you have vertigo. The most common one, when people say they had a vertigo episode and they have it, maybe once in their life, is where the room is spinning. Well, vertigo that I have, it is spinning inside my head. It feels maybe like a bicycle wheel or something rotating on its side majority of the time. So I have this horizontal spin. The worst spin that I get is when that wheel feels like it's going forward, and it is a front forward motion, and that is the worst feeling in the world to me, because I can't get it under control. I can't stop spinning, and I'm perfectly still. Sometimes I'll wake up, with this sensation, and those are usually the episodes that'll send me to the hospital.
Wow. And where did they say this came from? I mean, what was the trigger?
The trigger, we believe, I had 3 years ago. I had a virus that resulted in a double ear infection, and they gave me a drug that should not be given to somebody with my gene mutation. Of course, we didn't know it then. I don't know how to pronounce it, Kurt. You might know a fluoroquinolone drug.
Okay, yeah, and I'm not familiar with that one.
Neither. And so that, a week after I started that drug, was my very first vertigo episode. And it's caused some sort of permanent damage inside my inner ear, and it can't. Nobody's been able to figure out how to undo it. I've lost, I think, 85% of my hearing in my left ear, and the only thing I really hear out of it is just crazy loud tinnitus.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's got to just be irritating by itself.
If somebody asked me how I stand it, if I look back where I was a year ago, I was really dying a year ago. So living with tinnitus, I'm just happy to be here. And right. I can handle anything, knowing that I'm here another day for my kids.
Yeah. Well, and that's something else we were talking about. I mean, at the same time that you're going through this, you've got how many kids at home?
I have 2 kids.
2 kids at home.
Yeah, they're 20 and 16 now, and instead of me taking care of them, they had become my caregivers. My daughter skipped college to take care of me.
Wow, that's just crazy. And so after you had the tinnitus and you had the viral stuff and it progressed and you were starting to have kind of that some of the other symptoms and that, kind of give us a little history. Where did it go from there?
Well, being bedridden with I got well actually. If you look up, I was diagnosed with Meniere's disease, and if you look up Meniere's disease, you'll see that it will go into a random remission. Well, my life all of a sudden became so stress-free. I don't know how it happened. I haven't been able to figure out how to get back there, but I really didn't have a lot of stress. I was still being a mom and married and, working and everything, but somehow I was really managing stress well, and I went into a remission with the vertigo for about 6 months, and then a stressful event happened, and it came back, and it never went away again for me. And so, being bedridden like that and dealing with that level of stress, when you've got a chronic illness and you can't function and your family is falling apart because of it, the stress that it causes does a lot of damage to your body. I was diagnosed, with adrenal fatigue. I had leaky gut because I was so sick and vomiting. The acids had done so much damage, to my body. And that all of that caused other issues autoimmune issues to develop that you and I talked about today. I was then diagnosed with lupus and scleroderma and, lichen sclerosis. And the list just kept getting longer and longer and longer until I finally was like, okay, the doctors can't figure me out. I'm going to have to go alternative medicine route because that was my last hope.
Yeah. Well, before you did that, though, you were telling me you saw that one oncologist or the doctor that basically told you that you had to go on chemo or you were gonna die.
Yes, I forgot. During all of this, I forgot. Liver cancer was one of my diagnoses, and hereditary hemochromatosis. There is just so many, I forget them all. And so I was diagnosed back in February with liver cancer. I was having trouble with my gallbladder, and so I've gone in to a gastro doctor, and he looked at all my symptoms, my ferrous and my iron. I said before it was crazy high. It was still pretty high. It had come down, working on detox and diet, but it wasn't where it needed to be at all. And so he looked at all of that, and he said, I think you have liver cancer. I was like, there's no way. I eat so healthy. There's just no way. After all the tests I've had done, there's no way. So sure enough, he did the test. He did an alpha-fetoprotein tumor marker test that indicates liver cancer, and it came back elevated. And we were just all floored. And so I talked to him, and I said, is there anything I can do to prevent this from growing? And he told me, no, there's nothing he can do. He encouraged me to stop all my supplements because, and his words were, the only good medicine is FDA medicine. And we debated about that for a little while. Then he said, this is growing in your body. He said that I had to, and gave me a prescription for oral chemo medication and said, without this, you're going to, your life is going to be cut short if you don't take this medicine. And, of course, I didn't do it. I didn't fall in. I wasn't going to let fear be a tactic for me. I decided to fight it smart and not out of fear.
Yeah, and you were saying that down there where you live, basically with the insurance that you have, that if you don't follow your doctor's recommendations, then they could basically throw you off the insurance. Yes,
if enough doctor, and I do tell my doctors, I tell that I would prefer not to take their medicine. I would prefer to fight it naturally because that's how my body responds. It responds that way. And I have some doctors who are supportive of that. Majority of my doctors are not. And the way that was told to me by two of my doctors were, if you get enough report of noncompliance on your insurance, they will drop you. Your doctors can drop you. The insurance can drop you.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and you're just a nonconformist.
I suppose. I'm just a little rebel.
Thank God, right? Thank God. So fast forward it to a little bit till like this winter here, and so now you've been diagnosed with liver cancer. I mean, and that's about when I met you. Is about that time through Angie, and
right.
And so you had been doing some detox, another detox, because we hadn't met yet, so you hadn't heard of Sisel. But and so with the detox, from what you were saying, you saw some improvements, right?
Right. I was seeing great improvement with detox. Like I said, I hired a nutritional coach who is also a genetic specialist, and we decided, because of my body was so riddled with disease, to do a slow detox. And when I say slow, I mean slow. I started, working with her a year ago, so I was seeing improvement, but because we were working so slow, we didn't push hard. That's where we were in, February with all of this. My numbers had come down, but they weren't where they needed to be. And so where when the diagnosis were, at the time I met you and reached out to you, actually, Angie was so desperate for my life at that point, and she put me in touch with you, which I'm so grateful for. And so we regrouped. I had to redo my strategy, because even though I was doing, cancer was still growing. And so the first couple of months, I told the doctor to give me 6 months to do this on my own, and let's see what I could do with it. And so he agreed to do that, and he monitored me blood work-wise every 6 weeks. And so I amped up detox a little bit. I changed my diet. I cut out, all meat except for, fish protein. And I went to a mostly raw fruit diet. And then I still wasn't seeing the results. My ferritin was still high. My iron panel was still crazy. My kidneys were still, off. My liver enzymes had dropped, almost to normal, but not quite normal. And then, I regrouped with my nutritional coach, and she's like, Gwen, I don't know what else to do. At this point, I'd only had about 8 weeks left till my 6-month mark. And so you sent me the supplements, and I told everybody, I said, okay, let's see what these do, because I'm really going to put these to the test. And I told you, Kurt, I was like, I'm going to really test these. And you sent me the Fucoidan, and you sent me the Eternity. And I stopped my other supplements that I had been taking, except for just a few that helped me manage, like my probiotic and some things. And so we did these two, and I dedicated everything to it. I was documenting. I was looking for something to go wrong, because so many things had failed. And, you had talked to me about them before, and I kind of was like, I don't know, And then when I got them, it was like the first, and I really, really did the supplements so I was supposed to. I really felt good. I mean, really good. And, sometimes you take something, and as your body adjusts to it, that good feeling, goes away. So you take a little more to get that feeling. But that never happened. I remained at my same dosage the whole 6 weeks. And that, I felt good every time I took them. I looked forward, to taking them. And at first I did like half an ounce of each every day. On a really bad day, I doubled that. I'm a small person, so I just felt comfortable with that dosage. And I'd been taking it for a couple of weeks, and I noticed that my vertigo was less. I was having it, but my episodes were not as severe, and they weren't as long as I had been having, which was a blessing. And I think I told you about it then, and I said next time I have one, I'm going to try to get that in me before it gets too bad and see what happens. And I had another vertigo episode. It was the kind that spins horizontal, and I took it, and about 20 to 30 minutes later, my vertigo went away. Now, up until this point, there has been nothing in this world that has been able to stop my vertigo. Once it starts, you just let it hit and you ride it out. And that's happened a couple of times now, and I have just been thrilled with it. So 6 weeks on these supplements, I get retested by my doctor. And this is the part that makes me cry. I'm so sorry. But it was such good news, and it was such hard work. And this is the part that Angie's coming over to love on me, because it was, my blood test came back. They were all completely normal. My ferritin had been so high, was absolutely perfect at 50. My kidney test, my BUN and my creatine and all that was completely perfect. My, you name it, it was perfect. And my alpha fetoprotein was normal. Finally normal. And the doctor told me, I was crying. Of course, I was crying on the doctor. I was so excited. I just really couldn't contain myself with that. And he he asked me what I was doing. And I told him it was, it was diet, it was detox, and it was these new supplements, that I was taking. And we pulled them up on my phone. I don't even think I told you this yet, Kurt. We pulled them up on my phone and let him look at the ingredients. And he was like, well, I can't see anything in there that would ever harm you. He was like, well, I guess you keep taking them. And so, that was my doctor's advice. I go back to him in 6 months. Somebody that I was seeing, every 6 weeks, I now don't have to see, for 6 months. So they really have, changed my life, not only with that and, my liver enzymes were normal, so that means the hereditary hemochromatosis is no longer. And, the vertigo is just the one, that has been the one that has ruined my life and has made me lose 3 years of my life. And to have that under control a little bit and have me driving, again, periodically, that's in my world, that's a game changer. That is a game changer. That is a game changer for my kids' life.
Yeah. Oh, I'm so excited. I mean, you got me in tears over here just thinking about how just things happen, right?
Angie's over here crying too. Goodness.
So today, for you folks on the phone, I went over. Gwen's actually up here in Fargo, North Dakota, staying with Angie and I, and we're going to work with her some more. And I did some muscle testing with you today with a couple of new products that we're going to add into your life. That was kind of crazy, wasn't it?
That was so crazy to me because I've had some work done, some physical therapy I'm doing on my shoulder. I also have a frozen shoulder that I'm in physical therapy for. And that shoulder does not work for much at all, And so when you were pushing down on it, it had you felt how weak that shoulder was. And then when I muscle tested, that shoulder was so strong. When that resistance, you couldn't push it down, which blew me away. I've never seen anything like that.
Yeah, and that was using, for everybody on the phone, that was using Avenger, which is our one of our relatively new products that came out in January. It boosts the immune system. But just with everything that Gwen's got going on, I really felt that it would be a benefit for her. So she muscle tested strong with that. And then the second one, we put her on. I'm putting her on Brain Vitality, and that one by itself, holy cow! I see people every day that just, they notice a change. My dad, who, almost 80 years old, he said that when he started taking it, he said within 2 weeks, he said, Kurt, my memory's coming back.
Wow.
Great products. And, so our goal this week, and hopefully next week when you get back to Florida, or maybe the week after that, I can get you back on the phone, share with people some more about what's going on. But, over the course of the next week, we're going to work on you. We're going to do a little bit more muscle testing, things like that. What's the main focus of that we're going to work on for the next week or so?
Vertigo, that one really alters my life. And then, everything else is in remission except for scleroderma and, lichen sclerosis. And you saw me today. I don't show any signs of inflammation, physically. But apparently there is still some in my body that's, causing issues. So, yeah, just those two. We're so close,
Yeah. Well, let's back up one step, and I know, I might run over the 30 minutes tonight, folks, so just bear with me on it. But I just remembered one thing you told me. You had like an inflammatory arthritis of your knuckles and your fingers, right?
Yes, that was one of my diagnoses. Was rheumatoid arthritis. They originally said it was fibromyalgia and then, rheumatoid arthritis and all that. And my knuckles, I showed you today the ring that I wear on my middle finger used to fit tightly on my ring finger. And, all of that is completely gone. And the cold intolerance that I had before, all of that is so much better. I flew in on an airplane here, and while it was cold, I didn't turn blue or my fingertips turn white like they normally do. So all that was completely gone, and that's a huge step for me.
There you go. Well, I'm so excited about everything and things like that. I'm just trying to think, as far as like if there's anybody on the phone, I know we've invited a lot of people that that aren't part of the normal crowd that listen to the phone. If you want to find out what we're doing, feel free to call me and I'll sure talk to you about it. My number is 701-680-9548. Just feel free to call me and I'll share with you what we're working with Gwen and if you have some problems we can work with that. And that's the important thing is that like Gwen's been trying to say is that they'll try and tell you that the medications are the only route, and you gotta be like this little gal from Florida, and you gotta stand up for your rights and say no.
Damn right.
Right? Isn't that right, Gwen?
Damn right.
That's Angie. Yeah, you really do, and just don't operate out of fear. Like get educated, do your research, and then make your step. That would be my advice. Don't let fear be a factor.
Yeah, and now here you are. Your cancer is gone. Your medical doctors confirmed it. It's not you saying it. You got the confirmation from your oncologist.
Right.
Your arthritis is gone. All the other conditions are coming under control. The Meniere's disease. We're going to do a little bit of work with your thyroid this week. I think you still have some thyroid stuff going on.
Yeah, I do. You're remembering better than me. Yeah, there's been so much, and I guess I do have it written down somewhere. I just didn't bring it with me. But the list of diagnoses is just huge, and you have to realize I was always healthy. I played tennis. I did kickboxing. I was really a healthy girl. I enjoyed it, and so that one bout of vertigo just really. That was a downward spiral for me. And, for years and years I just prayed, God, if healing isn't in it for me, just lead me to healing, guide me to healing. And I really feel like, this is the path God put me on and brought people like you and Angie into my life and showed me other ways to heal.
There you go. Well, Gwen, I know everybody will be excited to hear where we're going with this along the way. So, hopefully you'll agree to get back on the call and share with people.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you for asking me.
Thank you. Well, I'd like to just, I know I'm running late with people, but I had also asked a friend of mine. I just met her out in California a couple of days ago, and my friend Beth, she's out in Pennsylvania. She's going to attend the regionals out there when DW and Mary have the regionals out there. Marianne, Beth, could you just tell everybody, just hit *6 on your phone and tell everybody. How exciting was the RadFest this weekend? Learning how to really just help people live healthy. Isn't it exciting?
Yeah, I think it was a real transformational conference. To be honest with you, we talked with, you get up close and talk to these doctors and scientists from all over the world on cutting-edge technology on health and longevity and what they're really doing to using supplements and taking tests so that you can be more aware and fight cancer faster and really looking at, heart health. It was really transformational. I think I'm looking at my life differently now, and it gives you a good structure so that you can just, take charge of your life, be more grounded.
Yeah. Well, and Beth, after going to a seminar like we had this weekend and hearing Gwen's story, it gives people hope, doesn't it?
Yeah, I think so. I think that it's very easy, especially if you're starting to be in constant chronic pain, a little chronic stress. When you wear away at your health slowly but surely, maybe you don't realize the state you're in compared to where you should be. And I think for me, I didn't realize how easy it's going to be to swing back into being, positive and vital person. I just need to get some things aligned too. It's a good wake-up call.
You bet. Well, thanks for getting on, and Gwen, thanks for sharing your story with everybody, and for the people on the call. I really apologize for running late, but I think the information, it's worth hanging out for an extra 5 or 10 minutes to hear it, and maybe we can go out to that 4% that are looking for what we got, and we can really help them out. So thanks for being on the call. DW, are you still there? Are there any final thoughts that you had?
Well, just thank everybody, and Beth and Gwen, and bringing such just quality information to us as well. And this is a journey, and there's a couple things that was said that's kind of noteworthy, and one thing people want to start with is that slow detox. And I'm telling you, when I run across someone who's sick and struggling and going through some challenges, you want to start with a very, very, very slow detox and allow the body to kind of catch up, and then diet is huge. I mean, just getting rid of sugar and the junky carbs and the starches and the noodles and the potatoes and all the things that drag the body down, and feeding your body the right stuff as well, and then which is another form of a detox, and putting yourself in a position to have optimal health. And there's a lot of things that can be stopped and reversed and taken care of. Medicine's, for my personal opinion, going through a massive challenge like what you're hearing tonight. Medicines are for emergencies only, and that's just how I roll with it. And they assist. And so I'm not putting doctor medicines down. I'm just saying, man, there's just so much we can do. That the side effects is getting healthier. I mean, you try Ficoidin, it doesn't say on there, oh, man, watch your liver. Oh, man, watch your kidney. Oh, man, watch this. Oh, man, it's going to cause you not to breathe good. Oh, man, if you get, on and on and on and on and on and on and on of these side effects. The Ficoidin is a very mild cleanser to the kidneys, very mild a detox and cleanse of the liver, and it works very slowly, and you do it slowly. So, everybody just get ready. Doc's talking about the next 6 weeks. We're just going to take one step at a time and make sure we thoroughly cover it. If it takes us 2 weeks to cover it, that's what it takes, because what you're going through matters, and that's why you're part of the Doctor's Clinic tonight, and we're just so glad you're part of it. And get this call out to as many people as you can and touch their lives, and we'll go from there. Doc Fizz, anything else? And outside of that, it's a wrap.
All right. Thanks, DW. Thanks,
you
everyone.
betcha. All right, everybody, same place, same time next week, Doctor's Clinic, where the world is your waiting room. Over now.